Reaction Special Review. We're talking about the March Madness Review. I'm in here. David and I are already arguing about a few things. It's going to be an exciting week of basketball already. Unbelievable. Let's talk about this. Everybody's talking about UCLA over Temple. Ouch, that has to hurt the Owls. The Owls won. They won the games they were supposed to win. They even had a quality win against Duke early in the season. I mean, a convincing win while Duke was ranked, and my producer doesn't think so. He's giving me the stanky wave. But anyway, let's think about it. But David thinks UCLA Bruins deserved it because they lost in the state Pac-12 championship to who? Who they lose to? See, you don't even know. That's how weak the Pac-12 is. You can't even remember the championship game. Oh my goodness, unbelievable. Murray State denied again. Colorado State, I think that is just a pass to coaching stations. You know, you can't take pictures with college girls on the campus at the other opponent team and have a good impression on people. I think he's just suffering this from his past mistakes, and that's a shame. But also, here's my theory. It's something for you to think about. Inbox us or leave a comment. I think the selection committee is starting to cater to the Vegas line. Yes, they're starting to cater to the Vegas line and what teams show up the most in the student section. We're talking about money, 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 money. That is what we're talking about in this March Madness. Times have changed, people have changed, but money stays the same. Let's take a quick look here at the 68 teams that are in it. We got Texas Southern, the Texas Southern Tigers. They're from the SWAT, coached by Mike Davis. Yes, Mike Davis, that one-night wonder at Indiana University. We may not remember it, then he became a journeyman. He went over to University of Alabama, Birmingham. And how in the world do you end up in the SWAT? Let's move on to Hampton Pirates. At the time, Hampton Pirates is considered a historical black college university, HBCU. We don't know how they got it in, how they made it in. That's true, but they had a successful season. We'll look at that. It's the playing game. So they may or may not. It's a big possibility. I think Hampton plays Manhattan. That should be actually should be a good game. I think they're underestimating the talent of the Hampton Pirates. Moving on, that'll give us to the Manhattan Jaspers with the coach that thought he did or did he didn't, had a college degree. So it's pretty interesting to see, do you or do you not have a competing team here? His team competed very well there, so we're looking forward to see that matchup. We have the Lafayette Leopards that you have to do something. You have to at least compete if you have a mascot named the Leopards. You need to try to compete. That'll be Team 65 there. They're not the Raging Cajuns, okay? But they're the Leopards, okay? And they made 41.4% of their threes. So hopefully that will be in their favor when they face off in the tournament. Robert Morris Colonials here. They are not a stranger to the tournament. They had a nice little run the year before last. They lost in their championship game. I don't know if they should be in. I think that's where you have Murray State or Colorado State should have a place. I don't think they earned the right to be in. I just don't. But you know, you can let me know out there. I just don't think they've proven themselves enough in the season in their conference. Coastal Carolina. I think it's just also here you have big name coaches that go to smaller schools that helps the selection committee picks. You have a Cliff Ellis at Coastal Carolina. You don't have the name Cliff Ellis. Do they get that bid? They won. I still don't like them. North Dakota State Bison. Their team 6-2. I mean, who knew that North Dakota, South Dakota had basketball? You know, so you know, God bless them. Let's see what they do. North Florida Ospreys. They had to win the tournament to get there. They had to win the tournament. So with a really funky Jewish-like mascot, you better do something on the court and compete. You have the University of Alabama Blazers here. They won their conference tournament. They had to win their conference tournament to get in. So here's the thing. Here's the shakeup you have and some of these disappointments. You have teams that not finishing their conference tournament in the mid-majors, and now this is what shakes up the selection. This is what shakes up the at-bigs. the at-bid selection, the at-large selections, because you have these unexpected, these one-time wonders shaking it up. So here we go. Eastern Washington Eagles. Okay, they won. They got in. They shoot 39.6% from the three on the season. So these are things, these are qualities that teams, they're capable of upsets, but they're long range. It's long distance. It's very short shot. You have University of California, Irvine, Anteaters. That's just one mascot I don't want to be or mention when I'm playing basketball or any sport, so to say. Okay, and then we have Albany Great Danes. I believe you have the coach there is Bobby Hurley. He's a Duke alumni, and he did a great job of just getting some talent up there and developing some talent and winning a tournament to get an automatic bid. Here we got the mid-majors. We got some mid-majors that could cause some problems. Is your Northeastern Huskies. They got hot, and they're Wolford Terriers. They're out there, Spartanburg, South Carolina. They have key players there. You know, usually these mid-majors are led by their seniors. So here's the thing that people are forgetting, that a lot of the Power 5 schools have younger teams, but these mid-major teams, they have senior leadership, juniors and seniors out in the court. So that's what sometimes it makes a difference in the NCAA tournament when you have mid-major teams that have more experience on the court when it comes to clutch time. I'm not saying they're going to pull the unbelievable. I'm just saying these are the possibilities when you have more experience. A lot of your Power 5s are having younger teams. Yeah, and I had got distracted because we were having technical difficulties in our studio. But moving right along, we have the Belmont Bruins. They're not a stranger to upsets. They're not a stranger to upset Duke about a few years ago. They're not a stranger to what's going on. The Belmont Bruins, okay, they won their conference time. They weren't even expected to, but they got in the mix and took care of business. And you never know. New Mexico State Aggies on the men's side. You need to look out for them as well, New Mexico State. And here's one thing people don't understand. Georgia State Panthers. You remember the nasty injury to Kevin Ware. Guess where Kevin Ware ended up? Georgia State. So he is making effective. Now, that one player can't just send them into the Sweet 16, but people, they're under the radar, and you need to watch out for them because they have a legit backcourt. They really do. So, therefore, you just might see them sneak out of that first round. It depends on if we look at our matchups, which we're going to look at the next segment here with the help of our producer and co-host is Incognito, and he made some good shrimp. I tell you, it was pretty good. I didn't taste it, I smelled it. But moving right along, Buffalo Bulls, excuse me. This is Bobby Hurley's team, not Albany. Excuse me, Paul. The Buffalo Bulls in Buffalo, New York. Bobby Hurley has that team going there. I said the Albany Danes, but it's the Buffalo. So it's still upstate New York. It's just the other school in Buffalo. So Buffalo, New York, not Albany, New York. So he has that team going there, and I think it's just quality coaching staff and just bringing the tenacity there. That can make a difference, and that can bring out the best in players to get them in gear and get them going. We'll see. We'll look at the matchups later and see what their possibilities and probability is, because we know sometimes March Madness is just a part of mathematics and the probability and who you're matched up against. So here we go. Harvard Crimson, they won the tiebreaker with Yale. And Yale, if you ask me, Yale should have gotten in Harvard because they did beat them regular season time, but you have to win the one-game tiebreaker, Yale. So you didn't do it, Bulldogs. Shame on you. You could have made some history again in Ivy League. If you don't ask me, they need to start doing an Ivy League playoff. That is just weak. You're so intelligent that you're not intelligent enough to do an Ivy League tournament. How about that? So, Valparaiso Crusaders. There are 4 New York teams. I'm a producer. I just headlines. I did bring to my attention. There are 4 New York teams, and the only one that has a probability of staying long is St. John's. So we have Albany, Buffalo, Manhattan, and St. John's. New York teams. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. And so hopefully 2 of those teams, I'm predicting 2 of those New York teams can stay around past the first round. 2 of those teams have the capability of doing that. I really do. That is legitimate. Valparaiso. Yep. Valparaiso. Moving on to Valparaiso here. Valparaiso, back to the, the Drew family has that all sold up. They just pass it down the coaching line, the Drews to the Drews to the Drews. And so it's just that experience and that passion, I think, that just runs through that. They really lifted, and you have to give that family credit. They're the ones that lifted that program to this competitive level, whether they're not in it every year, but they're always knocking at the door. And that's due to what that family has done for that program, playing and coaching. So, you have to give credit where credit is due. Stephen F. Austin, speaking of which, they were snubbed back in 2013. They did not get in with 27 wins, okay? And I think about 4 losses or 8 losses, but don't hold me to that. So that was part of my snub segment, but I just had to point that out because they got in the way they should be. So it's just tough when you're these mid-major tournaments and they're not going to give you 2 teams out of these mid-major conferences. So that is a tough thing. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. But you know what the NCAA is going to do? Let's be real, people. They're going to get the teams that's going to bring the crowd, that's going to bring the what? The revenue. High mid-majors that might be in trouble. My producer, he does not like it because I don't care for him. The Bruins are going cruising early. UCLA Bruins. Steve, this is the weakest line that the head coach had to say about their team. We didn't lose bad. Pretty much. That's what he had to say. We lost well. He knew he was on a bubble. He knew he was on the borderline. Oh, my goodness. The Madonna song. On the borderline. That is so weak. There wasn't even Mr. Barnes from the committee. He had the weakest explanation for the UCLA Cruising Bruins. LSU Tigers. I'm not convinced by them. I haven't been impressed. I don't see them sticking around long because they're a streaky team. Maybe next year if they have some pieces, but this year I wasn't impressed. That's where you should see a Colorado State or a Murray State that has experience and depth to compete and to make it more interesting. One thing you can say about a Colorado State and Murray State, they do travel well as far as fanfare. Maybe not as large because of population. So we have to look at the social, political, game that comes out your selections. That's just the honest truth. You never know. It might start trickling over into your high school playoff schematics there. You just never know. Just be aware. I'm just saying. Money, 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 money. Ole Miss Rebels. I think because they played that one close game to Kentucky, so they get a hand-me-down or hand-me-out. I'm not convinced. They didn't play consistent enough. A year and a half ago was about one of their best seasons, but we'll see. They have a few key players, Stephon Moody and Jarvis Summers. Okay, and they finished 11-7. That was their. To me, after Kentucky and a few other teams, how good is SEC as a conference? Not that great as a basketball. Football, if we're talking football, we're like, yes, this is a great conference. SEC is still trying to develop a case for itself. If you ask me, as far as a basketball conference, contender conference. Wyoming Cowboys. You got a Larry Nance Jr. that's in there that there's no way this kind of talent should be at Wyoming, but it landed up there. You got a 6'8" talent there in Larry Nance Jr. that if you take him away, then you're not even talking about Wyoming being in the mix of the NCAA. So what a difference a quality player makes, okay? A difference maker, as my buddy once tried to say. We're not going to talk about that time. Remember the time? Go to Texas Longhorns. I'm disappointed by this. I don't think they won. I didn't think they won enough. They slid the rest of the season. And again, this is about what school travels well as far as fans, and that's what they did. So I'm not convinced about this. They went on a slide and went into the end of the season, and then they had a tough one going into the Big 12 as well. So to me, that was a traditional pick. Be safe, financially pick. You go with the bigger team, your bigger schools, power team, power conferences. If you ask me, and I'll be both. Indiana University. Who in the world, the land of basketball? I didn't know that. I forgot they existed until they got this big because they were struggling. And then it's like, how does Tom Crean Q's job? Somebody loves you, babe. You know, it's for you. So it's guards and wings. Stephen F. Austin. What about them? Who do they play? They play Utah, and Utah has been legit. I think they finished right out of Texas. Out of Texas. So you have about 3, 4 Texas teams in there as well. Oklahoma State Cowboy. No way. They should not be in here. You got to be kidding me. What do you think? No. I got it from the producer. Is no way. Again, there goes your Temple. Could be in Oklahoma State or your Murray State and there's some other teams that were out in the bubble there that could have got in, if you ask me. Some other teams, quality teams that playing at the top with very experienced. Yeah, it's another team out. Here's the thing: people might think I'm crazy, but you know, Oklahoma State. There's another team out in the A10 that you could have took that could have made it better, that played better than what they're playing. I'm talking about playing well, but you're talking about revenue. You go to Oklahoma State. North Carolina State Wolfpack. Here they are. I call them the ninth hour wonders. They always win the games they're supposed to be when it matters to the committee. If you ask me, that's what they did. I don't like the formula, but that's the way the formula is set up. You win the ones late in the season. That catches the eye. That validates it. It punches your ticket. That's just the formula. Let's be honest about it. That's what happened. They won big games. They won games late in the season that they needed to get the eye and get the attention from the selection committee. So Cincinnati Bearcats, I thought they were on the cusp all the time. They didn't make the championship, did they? So that should have been I don't see it, but is it AAC now? AAC? They're Big East. No, they're AAC. AAC or big? I forgot. Yeah, because they lost to UConn. UConn's AAC now, right? Or the Big East? No, it's AAC. American Athletic is AAC now. And then there's Big East. There's ACC, AAC, and Big East.
I don't know about the AAC. I don't know what the AAC.
Look it up. So here we're trying to confirm which conference it is because we don't want to give you wrong information.
I didn't even know this was such a thing.
Yeah, see, we didn't even know that was it was the American Athletic Conference, right? And so Cincinnati lost to UConn, and then UConn lost to SMU in the championship AAC. So I don't see Cincinnati. If that is a 50-50 there. To me, to validate this pick, they have to get out of the first round to validate their win. The American Athletic. Okay. So we got the St. John Storm. What do you think, producer? How did they get in? How did they get in? Yeah. How did St. John's get in? Here's the so-called argument from the media pop. The Red Storm won 7 of their past 8 to secure a tournament bid, and then lost to Villanova and Providence by a combined margin of 54 points. So how do you get in? So how did you earn that spot? What about all the hardworking teams? What about the mid-major that's going to field a team that's going to compete? So now I still have confidence in St. John's talent, but the thing is, I watched the beginning of the season. They have the ability, but they're inconsistent and undisciplined. And that's why they struggle, because of the lack of consistency from their students and players on the court. Boise State is that Big Sky. That Big Sky Conference, Boise State. We want to double check what conference they're coming from. Boise State, Mountain West. Did they win their conference, or they got to add large? We want to double check. I just couldn't remember. Going to double check that for you. Mountain West Conference, NWC. Oh yeah, that's with Utah, New Mexico, UNM, University of New Mexico, Colorado State, and all those guys. See what I'm saying? So how did Boise State get in into Colorado State? Doesn't get in. Georgia Bulldogs. Can somebody tell me who let the gate open for these dogs? Did they win the SEC or something? Georgia Bulldogs. People are saying maybe the 72-64 loss, home loss to Kentucky, is the quality loss that shows that they have what it takes to compete. So now, when you have a team like the University of Kentucky Wildcats at that level of play, now they're comparing the quality of your loss to that team in your conference. Unbelievable. What else did you do outside of that, right? It should be your content. Okay? Moving on here to the Purdue Boilermakers. No way, Jose. That's somebody's buddy in the meeting conference, whatever you want to call it, but that is the buddy old boy, old Palamine system. No way. You ask me, no way they should be in, that they should have been in the NIT, not invited to the NCAA tournament. That's where they should have been, in the NIT. Yes, I said it. I said it here today. No way Purdue Boilermakers, inconsistent, couldn't be found during certain games. I'm just not convinced. Dayton Flyers, they were on a cusp. I think you just put them in there because it's drama from the A-10, and they can shoot. And guess who? And guess who coaches on Dayton Flyers? Archie Miller. And guess who was Archie Miller? The brother of Sean Miller. And guess who Sean Miller coaches? The University of Arizona Wildcats. So now it becomes a network of friends of how you get bids. Big names. I mean, so let's look at it. Yes, I'm saying it on the broadcast. Now it becomes who is the who on the bench. It doesn't matter what your team did, what those young men did on the court. Now it's the who's who of coaching and who is related to who, or who played for who, or who coached with who. You know, that's what it looks like it's coming down to now. And this is one team that they secured it because they had big non-conference wins early in the season and had played well in their tournaments. VCU Rams. That they earned theirs early, then they hit the skid. Then they had a devastating loss to Breontae Weber. He's out, career-ending injury. Not sure if he'll ever get to play overseas or not. And they were not expected to win this A-10 championship. And they came out and jailed at the right time for them and won it. And that helped them with their seeding also. So here's the thing. The deeper you could go into your conference tournament, you're on that bubble for at-large bid. Now you're looking at helping your seeding as well. You win your conference tournament in a mid-major. Now they might bump you up from 11 to a 7 if you win your tournament. 11 to a 7. We're not going to go 6, because 6 is still left for the powers from 6 to 9. But Wyoming is – so Wyoming won in the Mountain West, and they were ranked 12 in the country. Right?
That's number 12.
But they did have a ranking in the country, I thought, at the time. And so right here, we got some new information here in the Mountain West Conference. Wyoming beat San Diego State. Okay? And then in the Mountain West, you have 2 ranked teams. Here's the argument that Colorado State was playing in that conference. So how don't you give Colorado State the at-large bid? Man. All because of a coach's past history? I think so.
Wyoming won the tournament and San Diego State is better than Colorado State.
Wyoming won the tournament and San Diego State was in the final, right? Weren't they ranked too? They were nationally ranked teams. But so why? So here's the thing we go back to. If you are a ranked team all season in the country, You earn that bid, right? Whether you win your conference tournament or not, right? So now, why can't you give that third team from the Mountain West? They did it a few years ago when University of New Mexico was there, or was it just because Steve Alford was still coaching at the University of Mexico? Was it just that who was coaching and they were in that conference? I think so. I think so. You know.
What do you think?
Xavier Musketeers, they're by Boise is the third team over Colorado State, which is what? Almost similar. Xavier Musketeers are in. Uh, they're in the Big East now. The Big East looks like the big week. As Chris Mack was informing me, as a player at Xavier University, did a very good job with the program. I had the privilege to be familiar with the program when I was growing up in high school and back in the Pete Gillen days, and then Skip Prosser, rest in peace, Skip. And this is a team where it is, you have it's tough. It's a tough recruit. So to get things done and compete, that's a tough recruit. Cincinnati location. If you ever go see it, it is a campus in the city, in the hill of Cincinnati, downtown. So that's a tough recruit. And they have the Cincinnati they need to really uh, more into their practice facility, and you'll see. I'm questioning it, and then we'll look at it. That's right. I'm questioning it. Okay. Here we go. We're moving on to Iowa Hawkeye. Get the Hawkeye out of the tournament. How does that happen? Here you go again. Iowa. Why? How? Where have they been? The Big Ten is horrible this year. Give me the Murray State excitement. Give me the Colorado. Give me the Temple should be in that spot. They've won consistently down the stretch. They lost in the tournament, but before the tournament, they won the games they were supposed to expected to win. That's what people are overlooking, I think, sometimes. But Ohio State, really. Side matter. What does it matter? It's side matter, right? He goes to Xavier to Ohio State. I mean, I think again sometimes what do you think, producer? I think sometimes these bids become just name dropping. Who's who on that coaching bench for that team? Doesn't matter whether. What was Ohio State's highest rank? And North Carolina. After that, who?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay. 3. Who else? That's 3 solid wins.
Indiana
is a tournament team at large. Okay, so they didn't win it. Okay. Lost to Purdue. Okay, here we go. Who else they lose to? Michigan State. They lost in the finals. Northern Iowa. It lost to University of Northern Iowa. Iowa State. Syracuse and Texas. There's no way, for the love of basketball, Iowa should be in there, even with those 3. That's an NI. That is a great NIT team. I'm thinking about NAIA because I'm going up there Wednesday to check out some NAIA action. And they lost to Penn State in the tournament, right? They didn't do their job to get an at-large bid. Here's the thing. Can I repeat it again? Temple, Colorado State, Murray State. I'm making an argument for these Snucks because it's becoming who's who on the bench coaching or who is related to who. Or what is the best revenue team, the best traveling fan fare for our money? The bang is the bang for the buck right now. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's be honest. Okay, so we have San Diego State. That is Steve Fisher. He is not giving up after the Fab Five. Everything has been stripped from them. But man, you cannot take away what they did, right? And he's moved on to San Diego State. He did a tremendous job there, and he looks like he loves it now. If you see him, it looks like he still loves. When I watch it, when I see a few games that they telecast, he looks like he still loves sitting on the bench. At 70, at 70 years, I'm like, well, can I have that privilege? I mean, till John wouldn't pass most of his games, he would go and sit in the game and just take. You didn't notice that? Any people notice? That's what you call the love of the game. But moving right on, I have San Diego State. They have capability. They have the capability. I got Lucy in the technical difficulty in the studio. San Diego State has the capability of getting to the Sweet 16. This all depends on our next segment when we look at the region, what it is. Because everybody doesn't get a Duke cupcake region. Everybody doesn't get that. Okay? We got Davidson. Davidson is dangerous. Davidson is dangerous. So we had a comment here, except for Kentucky. Well, they earned it. They're undefeated. Duke lost in the ACC tournament, and you still get a division. You get a first seed in your region. Come on, where's the justice? They didn't do what they were supposed to do to get a first seed. They didn't do it. They didn't take care of business. But you reward them for what? Tradition. That's what you reward them for. Tradition. That's what people get rewarded for now. Not what they do now, but they get rewarded for tradition. Oregon Ducks. Come on. This is not the Mighty Ducks. And now who let the dogs out? This is not the Mighty Ducks of hockey. This is not the Mighty Ducks. We got to feed the dog. We'll be back after these matches. Now, here we go. Oregon Ducks. These are not the Mighty Ducks. This is not a Disney film. They didn't do enough. It's the weak Pac. It's the Pac smell, not the Pac-12. It's the Pac smell conference. They really didn't do anything. Michigan State Spartans. I'll be an advocate of this because Tom Izzo does a great job of getting his teams ready to compete in the postseason, and it shows. He's proven that time and time again. He's won the games that they need to win, and then he goes deep into the tournament again. How many years after years does he do that? And he does it with what? Hard working, what we call blue-collar athletes. And here is the thing. I'm a big advocate of Tom Izzo because he does not try to win his NCAA bid to the beginning of the season. He lets his team progress. He develops the program. And guess what? People don't realize most of his players stay, 4 years. So he gets those players that have to be developed. They need to be developed, and they need to stay 4 years. And that's why he's consistently in the Final Four or the Elite Eight. Because he's getting the kids that stay for 4 years.
Did you add another UCLA wins and losses?
Okay, so now we have to know the UCLA wins and losses. Let's please share. No, let's talk about. Hold on. This is the past 2-3 years. Okay, let's go with the past 2 years. Yeah, ready. We're ready. We're listening.
This is the season right now. Arizona loses. They lost to Arizona by 6.
They lose. UCLA lost to Arizona by 6.
They lost to
Utah.
Arizona again by 10.
Arizona by 10.
They lost to Arizona State by 2.
Arizona State by 2.
Cal by 2.
Cal by 2.
Oregon, they lost to them by 18.
Lost to Oregon by 18.
But they also beat Oregon.
Beat Oregon by how many?
By 9.
By 9.
They lost to Oregon State by 11.
Oregon State, they're not even an NIT team.
They also lost 5 in a row.
They lost 5 in a row.
To Gonzaga, Kentucky,
Kentucky, Alabama, Colorado, Utah. Alabama's not even in at 18 and 14. They weren't good enough to get in because They just wasn't. That was there, and my heart goes out to Coach Grant because he did a great job to turn the program around where they didn't have that many wins. It's just that's a football school. That is a tough recruit, but you got to get it done. I'm sure Coach Grant will land somewhere. He did a great job at the beginning. Um, Moving on to the Providence Friars. They're a scary team. I mean, I don't know how they got in. I'm not so proponent for that. I'm an East Coast guy, but I don't see how Providence earned that. I think it's the name Cooley in the coaching business. His last name is Cooley. He has a history. He has a good, he has a good reputation, a good name in the basketball community as far as college coaching. So just take a look at that. These are things you said. Why are you on this soapbox about who's who? Because that's what it's becoming now. Who are the guys coaching the team? Now, you remember you have former college stars that are becoming what? Head coaches. And they're not coaching their alma mater. They're coaching what? Mid-major teams. And that weighs a lot with selection committee because it's a familiarity. So it has more trust in a player that comes from a what? A winning program that's coaching a program to become winners. Just think about it. If Dayton, now the playing game is Dayton and who? Dayton and Boise State. At least give Colorado State a playing game. Or Temple a playing game, right? Or Murray State at least and give them the 16 or the 11 playing game. My goodness. But I'm sure that Boise State and Dayton game, it's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a good game. I believe it's going to be a quality game. Don't get me wrong. But we're talking about when do you give credit? Then you wonder why people talk about pay the players. If you're going to do an injustice like this, at least pay them for their blood, sweat, and tears for them making money for the university. That's another story. Butler Bulldogs. Butler Bulldogs, I think they're still getting in off the graces of what they did the past 3 years. And they weren't as great in quality under Coach Brandon Miller. I just don't think it was that great in quality of wins. But, they had some up and downs, and they stayed. They were in the top 20. They were in the top 25 AP poll, the coaches poll throughout the season off and on again. SMU. Mustangs. SMU needs to thank Coach Larry Brown for revising them and putting them back on the map. You have no Larry Brown, you don't have players. You don't have players coming to SMU because what? Larry Brown coached in the pros. Larry Brown coached in the pros. So kids that want to get to the pros going to play for what? A former pro coach. Jim Calipari coached in the pros. He knows what it takes to compete in the pros. So why do people think it's a surprise that he's getting top players that are pro-like talent? Because he's coached in the pros. Don't you get it? The only coach that didn't do so well in the pros was Rick Pitino, and he's not getting pro-like players. Why is that? But got Larry Brown and Jim Calipari, they coached in the pros. And that's why you get pro-like players on the college level when you have that history. So let's call a spade a spade. That's why you're able to recruit like that when you have a pro coaching, NBA coaching background. It's very simple. I don't know why people are like, well, it's Jim Calipari. It's like, well, he did it in Memphis. He got pro players because he was a pro coach, and he still has connections with the pros, and he knows how to get the players where they want to do, and that's what? Make millions. He knows how to get it done, and guess what? Calipari is a millionaire because he came back one before he came back and coached pro. So, how about that? Georgetown Hoyas, the most underrated team. To John Thompson III, he needs to let his team play. He's too much Princeton and not enough playground. He needs to let his team play. I like it that he hasn't played discipline, but he's going to write his own pink slip one day if he has the players that can go. Give them the blueprint and let them figure the rest out. Okay? Let them go. Let them roll. That's what I say. Let them. We want free. Let them free. Let them play. Okay? Okay, we go to Arkansas. Arkansas Razorback. Arkansas Razorbacks are only legit because of Portis. This young man by the last name of Portis. He is a legit player. He's a legit powerhouse. You take away a Portis, yes, excuse me, time out. Time out of the car. I got time out. I have to get my equipment together, excuse me. Here we go. Okay, so we have Arkansas is a Portis here. This young man is amazing for Arkansas. Mike Anderson at the Arkansas Razorbacks. He has brought back the 40 minutes of hell. And that's the way Arkansas basketball has intended to be. Once Nolan Richardson, you had that sour moment there where Nolan Richardson and Arkansas had a little divorce, and eventually they kissed and made up in these past 2 years. But here's the thing. The staple of Arkansas Razorback basketball is that 40 minutes of hell. You spread the floor out, you trap, you get up and down the court, and we might think about running half-court offense, but we're going to try to dunk, lay it up, and confuse you on defense. It's chaos. It is methodical. It is thought out, well-disciplined chaos. So that is something good to see. He's bringing a little bit back of that. Here we go. Mr. Huggins, Huggy Bear himself, West Virginia. What do you think? Do you think they earned enough to get in? I think they had a lot of tough losses. I think just because it's Huggy Bear. You know, and he's at his alma mater. So there you go. So you got a Huggy Bear in there. And here you go. They do have a talent. Stanton, that is a talented guard. They have a backcourt that is talented, and they have played under their potential most of the season. And now I think it's about time for them to have a breakout. And this is the best time to have a breakout. So I have West Virginia getting dag near close to the Sweet 16. I do, because they're that dangerous of a team. And then under the radar, and they're okay with it. So teams like that, and the Huggins, you have to give him credit. He knows how to coach players in tournament situations. You know, is that right? He knows how to coach in those. You have to have the players that know how to play, but you also have to have the players that know how to put coaches that know how to put players in a successful position. They know how to get into that psyche. They know how to tap into that drive, and that is a rare talent to have. North Carolina Tar Heels, I'm just waiting for Roy to retire. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's got his lead. I'm sick of him now. Like, Roy, you are like sweating out this allegation stuff. You barely got through. The next time it's not going to be nice, because they already came after Jim Bogan. Was it Bam? Jim at Syracuse, huh?
Jim Bohan?
Yeah, they came after Jimmy Boy at Syracuse, you know, and you better be careful, Roy, because they might come after you now. They're going after these big boys now, okay? Time to change it. So you better be careful out there. So, Roy, after this one, you better think. No way. I'm looking at this, and it's the Rory McIlroy PGA Tour EA Sports golf game. Who in the hell has lost their mind? Okay, back to basketball. If that's a smack in the face, that's going to sell compared to Tiger Woods. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We're moving on. Baylor Bears. There's another what? There's a Drew brother. There's a Drew man coaching the Baylor Bears. He is known for his zone out there. I hate zone. Be a man and play man-to-man defense, okay? But you know what? It works. Him and Jim Boeheim did the same thing. I cannot stand it. On the playground, you had to stop to one man-to-man. It wasn't no zone stuff. You had to play straight up. Stop me. Stop me from scoring is the name of the game. Stop me. Not, oh, where's your buddy? Play in your area. Who cares about that? And that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like now. Before we're about man-to-man, now we're going back to this. To me, is it because you're getting dumber players? Seriously, are you getting dumber players? Are we getting more Prop 48s again? It's like, go to JUCO, learn something. Just don't go to JUCO to transfer because I didn't have the SATs or the ACT. So be it. But Baylor is effective. He has big bodies. He has big posts. He has shooters. They do play aggressive defense. Give credit where credit is due. So here you go. Maryland went far, right, in the Big Ten. They couldn't get it done, right, in the Big Ten tournament. Ran into some. In the first year, they played well regular season, but when it was time, when the lights came on and the curtains came up, they didn't get it done, did they? They did not get it done. So Maryland Terrapins, you know what? Is that Mark Turgeon? I'm happy for him because it was not looking good until they made this move. And so here's my thing. Their style of play helped them out in the Big Ten. But next year, these Big Ten teams, original teams, are going to be ready for Maryland. They're going to be ready for the Terps. So their style of play, their ACC style of play, physical, and spreading the floor out and getting up and down, they spread the court out and then helped them this first season in the Big Ten. So that's why they had so much success and were able to stay in the top 25 because their style of play, they sped up the grind out style of the Big Ten. And the Big Ten is, you got some big boys, you grind it out, you have court set, and you put a little pressure from time to time. And ACC is what? Go, 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 go. Spread the court out. So here we go. Utah Utes. All I like is Salt Lake City about Utah. That's all I like. It has not been the same since Rick Majerus. He's the one. He's the staple. He's the one that put this program on the map, and they propelled ever since. And rest in peace, also Rick Majerus. Died, man, another coach gone before his time. But you're talking about a brilliance and a man that had a passion for the sport was Rick Majerus. And so this is what you see here is a product of the program that Rick has built. So that's what you have here, and they built on it. So they had a good team. They had a good squad. They competed, and they have big wins in the early season, and that's what put them in that situation to be there. Wichita State Shockers, they haven't been the same region, so if they get past a certain round, they will meet KU. And this is what, get out of the first round, they will meet KU. And guess who the Shockers play in the first round? Indiana University, Creed's kids, the Cardiac kids, the kids I don't even know where he recruited them from. Does Creed even know where he got the kids from? Because they were under the radar, okay? So here's the thing. I'm going back to this. How do you still have your job, Tommy? Tommy boy, how do you still have your job? So here you have a Ron Baker on Wichita State and a Van Fleet. They are juniors. They are coming into their maturity without a Cle Anthony Murphy. It took them a whole season to come in to say, hey, light bulb, we got to be the scorers. They were used to other talents carrying it, but it took them people failed to understand, it took them a whole season to mature into their leadership as scorers and putting the team on their backs. And they did it when it mattered the most. Regular season, and guess what? People said, and they lost to Illinois in the semifinals, but guess what? That was an Illinois State that had everybody healthy, and they were a legit competitive team. They had some legit talent, and you got to give that team credit. And you're going to see that team next year, and that's an NIT team this year, and you're going to see that team again because they're not losing much. So that program out there, that coaching staff at Illinois State did a great job of recruiting some talent and rebuilding the program. This is what happens when you have a Wichita State and a Northern Iowa do well. What happens is what? It improves the quality of the talent that you bring to your conference for other teams. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what you're supposed to do. And that improves what? So down the line, NBC can get what? 2 and 3 bids instead of 1.5, if you know what I mean. So that's what they did this year. They got 1.5 because University of Northern Iowa won, and then Wichita State was ranked. So to me, that's 1.5. That's not 2. So pretty soon, that's what you do. You build the quality of your conference by building the talent that you have in it, and it takes committed coaches. Okay. And the problem is in some of these mid-major conference, you got some of these sorry soap opera coaches, and they're just covering, they're protecting their salary and not building the program because they know nobody's going to get rid of them because we're mid-major. So somebody here has Wichita going already. I do. I think Wichita's going to beat Indiana, and I think Wichita State has the capability and the discipline to beat K. Here's the thing: KU's undisciplined, and they don't have a true post president. Okay, and they don't have definite leadership. But he's been hurt. Perriello has been hurt. So we have in the studio say Perriello, but now the thing is, how much of his full health is he going to be back to? It's not going to be 100%, and 75% is not going to be enough against a very aggressive defense that just as hungry. And guess what? This team turns it up in the tournament because they have a point to prove every year. So you never put an animal and trap them in the corner because they're going to come out fighting. That is the thing. So we're moving on to University of Northern Iowa. They proved their case. But here's the thing. So here's the thing. After Seth Tuttle, producer, after Seth Tuttle at University of Iowa, So now, University of Iowa, Northern Iowa, after Seth Tuttle, I don't know what they have. Oklahoma University. All we got to say is Buddy Hield, Oklahoma University. He's amazing. He's unselfish. He's a scorer. He gives assists. Iowa State, I can see this as a potential. Iowa State University, I can see them. Fred Hoiberg, the mayor, good system, offensive defensive system. I can see them as a potential Elite Eight team. Notre Dame, they could be a potential Final Four team. Louisville Cardinals, I see them checking out early because they play with inconsistencies, and they fizzled out a little bit towards the end of the season. Asterisk KU, Kansas Jayhawks. Everybody's hoping for Elite Eight run, but I see them checking out early here. Gonzaga Bulldogs. They are definitely Gonzaga Bulldogs. I see them getting to Elite Eight. Villanova Wildcats, depending on that. That is your possibility. That is your wild card. The Wildcats is your wild card. Here's it is. You heard it from me. Villanova's been under the radar, and Villanova is your wild card for the Final Four. Just how the way they've been playing. Arizona Wildcats, one of the only legitimate Pac-10, Pac-12 teams. Only one legitimate. I call it the Pac smell because after that, it's not too many teams out there that do well. So you have a legitimate Pac-12 team in the Arizona Wildcats. We have the Wisconsin Badgers. After Big Boy Kaminsky, the great hype of the team, I think they're going to do well because they have big boys. They like to play physical for the rebound. So they're going to – I see them getting to the Elite Eight, definitely. Duke. My producer has Duke in the Final Four. I have Puke bowing out in the Elite Eight. Okay, overrated. Okafor is not at 100%. The guards are inconsistent. It showed in the ACC tournament. And when you have fast guards on them, and here's the thing is, you have a Duke team that has to play zone this year compared to their man-to-man. So they're not going to get that far when they have to be pushed to play zone. That is not the Duke way. So Duke, you taking an easy, you taking about an Elite Eight exit out. You might squeak into the Sweet 16 because you don't have the guards that can play man-to-man. They like to score. They can shoot and they can get hot, but they cannot play man-to-man defense, and that has shown throughout the season. They can't stop anybody on the perimeter. We got Virginia. The Virginia, I feel sorry for them. UVA, they have hit their fizzle out point. So it's all based on who they face in this first round. They were hot, but now we're looking at Cavaliers. Can you get your engine started in this one game? I like what Tony Bennett has done out there. I like how he's turning it around. He's went to Washington State. Who they playing in the first round? They're playing Belmont. And here's the thing is, that's not a gimme game. That is a tough Belmont team. That is not a gimme game there. And it all comes down. University of Kentucky Wildcats. Here's the thing is, there are no give-me's. But this is a very focused team. I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm just saying this is a very legit. This is one of these rare teams you haven't seen in years. So that is your review of March Madness. I am disappointed. Here is, we have your coach that has been fired, George Mason. Coach Hewitt, after 4 seasons, he's out the door. University of San Diego, Coach Greer, after 8 seasons, see ya, you're at the door. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the program, Alabama's Coach Grant, he's out the door after going 18-14 to turn these season around. But that was not enough. Those coaches were laying on their feet, or they probably will see him in the booth during the NCAA Madness in somebody's booth. We know we will, if they're not in the NIT. But usually, that is how it is. Until next time, we got another segment coming up. We're going to review these first rounds. My producer is going to tell me his picks, and I'll tell you his picks. So the next segment will be about first round picks. So till next time, we wish you nothing but sweet swishes.